Have you ever wondered how to meet your family's emotional needs during a difficult time or any other day? Well, today we're going to cover that.
This is Soraya Altana. I'm a life designer, and you have the power to change in an instant.
So I'm very excited that you are here because this topic is so critical when you are in a family, when you are working on your family dynamics and you see the relationship and where it goes and what happens and the whatnots. Well, today we're going to talk about how to meet the emotional needs of your family. How can you lift them up when they're down? How to bring peace amongst situations that might arise that might be in turmoil, confusion, depression, sadness, or going through a difficult time. It doesn't matter what it is. So it's so critical that you have the ability to meet the needs of your family, to meet the needs of your children, to meet the needs of your spouse. So how do you do that? Well, today I am going to talk to you about that, and I'm going to give you 3 practical steps to accomplish that. The first thing is we are going to talk about the hierarchy of human needs, as Maslow would have it, as Tony Robbins has mentioned it, and there are 6 basic human needs that we are all meeting constantly, universally. Doesn't matter what we do, and throughout the day, we're constantly meeting our needs. We all have needs. Our first needs are for safety, right? For survival. The need for survival, that I would be fine, that I would be protected, that nothing will happen to me so that I can stay alive. That is, by definition, the survival need. That's a very instinct, and that's what our mind is constantly doing for us, is getting us into survival mode. And in that, there's different needs that we're going to go, that are emotional. We're going to go into them. And the first one is that we all have a need for certainty, a need for security, a need to have that consistency of, I know I can rely on this. I know I am well taken care of. I know I am safe. I know I will be fine. So that is the first need, the need for certainty. And we meet it when we go to work. We work out many times. Most people work out of a need for certainty. I need to know that my bills will be paid, that I will have food on my table, and that my family will have a roof over their head. So that is the first need. The second need is the need for variety, for sparking something different. There's 31 flavors of ice cream, right? If not more. You're looking always for the novelty, with the new thing that is coming, the upgrade. So we have that need to crave for more, because the human spirit doesn't satisfy just a certain level. It always wants more, because it's that deep desire to grow, the deep desire to accomplish more and to be in better conditions. That is the history of human beings. That's what we've done historically, and that therefore we can enjoy this technology even today. And the fact that you're watching me or looking at me today or listening to me is because somebody had that craving for more and to have that novelty. So that is need number 2. The need number 3 is for love and connection. Now, love and connection can be self-explanatory, and then it's not, because many people will settle for a connection and not really find the love. But that is our deepest desire. The deepest desire of every single human being when they're wanting to meet their needs is to be loved, is to be accepted, is to be wanted. There is no greater feeling than the feeling of being wanted, of being accepted, of being taken in. And that's how we constantly look to meet our needs. And we don't realize that in the same way that we're demanding, sometimes we fail to meet our family's needs, our spouse's needs, our children's needs. And that's why we are covering this today. So that's the need, that is number 3. And need number 4 is significance. Significance is the I matterness, that whatever I do, I have a voice, that I was here. There's a phenomenal song by Beyonce that says, I was here. I made a mark. I was not invisible. I didn't go by like a flower that was here today, gone tomorrow. Nobody remembered it. No, I made a difference. And wherever I go is that my voice counts, that people notice me, that people appreciate me, that people can appreciate my values. And this is a really, really deep subject on the top of significance. That's another need that we want to meet constantly. And we do this all day long. Regardless of what we do, whether we're playing in the park with somebody, we're going to the beach, we're going on vacation, we're working, we're creating a new project, we're creating a new program, whatever it is, there is a need on the other side of that we're meeting. And if it feeds our need, we're going to gladly do it. If it doesn't feed our need, or if it doesn't meet our needs, whether physical or emotional needs, then we will either suppress it, repress it, we're going to resist it, avoid it, or we will do it, but we won't be happy. We really won't be juiced about it. So that's what we're talking about, the human needs. Now, we're talking about 6 human needs when we cover 4. And these 4 are the basic human needs that we are every day, everybody, no matter where you are, no matter what color, what religion, we're all doing this. And there's 2 extra needs. These needs are spiritual, and those are the ones that bring you fulfillment. And that need is, the number 5 need is the need for growth. And if you realize and you look around to a tree, to a plant, when do they really stop? When does nature really stop growing? And what do you think? What the answer is when they stop living. When they die is the day that a tree stops growing. That is the one day. And nature does that. It's always growing. So nature can tell us something. It's our desire for more, for that variety, for growth, for bringing new knowledge, new things that will expand my reach, that will allow me to live life in a greater way, to enjoy it, that I can enjoy really in a different way. So that's what growth brings. So even Warren Buffett said, the more you learn, the more you earn. Is that growth? Because then you're able to create better definitions. You're able to create more things. You're able to improve the quality of people around you. You are able to put your talents and your gifts to work and create something that was non-existent, that brings value to people, and therefore you become more valuable. Therefore you enjoy life to the most because your needs keep being met. You keep being wanted, and there's a great circle. A virtue. It's a virtuous circle, right, that we create. And there's a 6th human need, which is the need for contribution. So how you have these needs running your life, the hierarchy that you ascribe to these needs, is how your life is going to be. If your life is driven by significance and certainty, and you want to always make sure that people notice you, and you always want to be right, and you always want to have things in control, your life might be very different than somebody that is driven by contribution, by love, that is wanting to contribute to others, that is wanting to make this a better place than they found it. Then that's a different kind of lifestyle. If somebody that is driven by variety and wanting to jump from one thing to another thing to another thing to another thing, and there's no stability, many times the children suffer for that, the spouses suffer for that. I certainly was talking to a client that he is driven by variety, and his wife not so much. And he wanted to jump from new city to another new city, and she felt uprooted. She felt that there was no stability. He didn't have a problem with variety, but she did. And could you see the conflict? And he didn't realize it until we had this conversation. So my question to you today is, how are you meeting your family's needs? How are you meeting the needs of your spouse? There are 6 human needs. You want to transform your family? You want to transform your life? Start meeting every day, constantly, the needs of your family, the emotional needs, not only the physical, not only the putting food on our table, which is critical. Right now, we're focusing on how do I meet their needs at their level where they need it. Not where I think they need it, but where they are. So I'm going to give you 3 tips on how to do that, how to meet the emotional needs of your family. And number 1 is commit to creating a new way. Commit to creating a new way, and it is you saying, you know what, this is a chapter that we're closing. However we've lived, no more. Let's take it to a next level. It doesn't matter whether you're in the basement or you are in the penthouse. Let's take it to a new level. Then you can either brainstorm. If you have a family that is cooperative, you can brainstorm and you can say, hey, how about we do these things? How about we go here? How about, what are some things, what are elements that we can bring? How can we upgrade our family dynamics? What would you see happen if you're with a spouse, if you're with children, whoever you are that can answer this for you? You can ask them. Their opinion is valid because that's the need for significance, that you're recognizing, that you're validating. Right? So what are some things that we can do differently? What's some things that you would like to see happen? What are something that we're not doing that we could do. If you're with your spouse, you could say, how could we spice up our relationship? How can we take our sex life to a different level, to a new level? There's always something more and different, because what kills your family, what kills your relationships many times is the torture of the everydayness, is the doing the same thing over and over and over again without change. So that routine will kill a lot of the magic that happens in relationships, because it's the mundane. Here are the things of going to the supermarket and doing laundry and doing dishes and doing dinner and cleaning here and kids. That mundane things kills the magic of relationship. So you want to commit to a new way. How do we elevate this? How do we go from here? Where do we go from here? And what are we committed to doing? Okay, so what just takes me to my number 2 point is create agreements. Create agreements that will stay in place for a long time. You can create agreements about having fun. You can create agreements about who's going to do what, even through when you were in quarantine or not. Who does what, who does it when, and how do we do it? And then we have agreements at work. That's one of the main reasons why couples break up, is because there's no agreements. That and the lack of sex. So if you don't have agreements, then everything, and sex in couples, then everything goes south, because there's not a set way of who's doing what and who's doing when. There's a lot of expectations, and there's a lot of should-haves, right? And you should do this and you should do that. So that's expectations. And there's a lot of disagreements because there's not an agreement. A disagreement is a lack of agreement. Would you agree? So I'm giving you tools today so that you can take your family life to the next level, so that you can meet the needs of your family, of your spouse, of your parents, of your uncles, of your brothers, siblings, whoever it is. We all have needs that we want to have met. So these are the tools. And number 3 is tap into your imagination. You have one of the greatest gifts, which is the ability to imagine, the ability to create. Everything, look around, everything that you see that has color, that has a shape, has been imagined before it came to existence. Imagine doing that for your family. What is it that we could do? I've heard people saying, well, we don't have the money. We don't have this. We don't have that. And it is true that the greatest resource is resourcefulness. You do not need a lot. We've seen families in these days where there's a video has become a fun way to doing certain things for fun, where a box of cardboard, it becomes a new toy. It brings a new definition. So it's not the lack of resources, it's the lack of resourcefulness that will take you south. So look around, you have everything around you. And I've been to places in the earth where people don't really have a lot and they become very resourceful. I know on my own, I became very resourceful because I come from a place where I didn't have much and I had to do a lot with what I had. And that was one of the greatest gifts, because I created things. I created ways. I always found a way, and I've always found a way of how do I do this? How do I go out to Europe without money? How do I go to other countries without money? Because I have a desire to travel and money's not going to stop me. How do I do that without this? It doesn't matter. When you have imagination, you can go as far as you want. And that is the tool number 3. So my invitation to you is to find the ways to be committed, and be committed to raise the standard and raise your family. It doesn't matter what it looks like today, but that you can have the relationship that you want and that your family has those needs met. Because it is true, and I was talking to some of my clients this week about this, it is true that children only take with them the memories, the programming that you've given them, the lessons of life, and those memories that will outlast even as they fly away. So that is my invitation to you in how to meet your family needs. If you want to reach me, look in the comments, subscribe to this channel if you haven't, and I look forward to seeing you in our next episode. Thank you for being here with me. Ciao, ciao.
You have the power to change in an instant.